Chocolate, Peter Quillen, against Ronald Winky Wright.
All those numbers in the last three categories, pretty close, but the salient number in this tale of the tape is number 40. That is the age of Winky Wright. Will that make him less effective, or will it simply point to the experience over the 28-year-old Quillen?
And the California rules for this fight.
Yes, there is a change here. The change is that the fight would be official after the start of the fourth round. If there was a clash of heads after the start of the fourth round, they would go to the scorecards. Before that, of course, it would be a no contest.
We are ready for the first of our co-featured fights. Let's go to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, at this time we present one of our featured attractions, brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Showtime, as sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, and AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Introducing to you our judges scoring this bout from ringside, all from the state of California. From Beverly Hills, Gwen Adair. From West Covina, Hall of Famer Marty Denkin. And from Chula Vista, Alejandro Rochin. Introducing to you our third man in the ring, the referee in charge of the action, Zach Young. All right, fans, here we go. 10 rounds of boxing in a middleweight special attraction. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with white trim, hailing from New York City by way of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He weighed in at 159.5 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with an outstanding record of 26 wins, no losses, 20 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ranked the WBA number 5 middleweight in the world. Introducing the undefeated Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, this 10-round special attraction, wearing gray trunks with red trim, fighting out of St. Petersburg, Florida. He weighed in at a ready 159 pounds with a record of 51 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw. He has 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight making his return to the ring, please welcome the former undisputed 154-pound champion of the world, introducing Ronald Winky Wright. Once again, a referee in charge, Zach Young, now to give instructions.
Take everything off, okay? Shirt off. Let's go. Okay, mouthpiece in. All right. Got mouthpiece in. Shoot second. Shoot second. Okay. You both already had your instructions in the dressing room. Remember, protect yourself at all times, all right? Touch them up. Good luck. All right.
10 rounds, middleweight division, 160 pounds, a special attraction. Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen, 26-0, 20 KOs, out of Grand Rapids, now living in New York, against one of the great fighters of his era, Winky Wright, coming off close to a 4-year layoff. What's he got? How long will it take to get back if he can? And we're underway.
It will be interesting to see and look early to see whether Winky Wright is active. They think the way to beat Peter Quillen, he and Dan Birmingham, is by hitting him often. They say nobody has been touching Quillen regularly with punches. Quillen has some defensive issues. And by the way, if you're wondering, on the back of his head, that's the flag of Cuba, where, of course, his father was born. Quillen is by nature a counterpuncher. Must be interesting for Winky Wright after almost a 4-year layoff now to be back in the ring again.
He said it will take him some time, probably harder, he said, to get started than it will be to finish.
Yeah.
Just to see what Quillen has to offer. Relax. Allow himself to remember, almost, Al.
Yeah, that's a good point.
How to fight at this level.
And remember, Winky Wright is not even though some people have accused him of not being an exciting fighter, he is not a fighter who gives you tons of movement, just enough movement. Now, there's the jab from Wright. They feel they're going to be able to land that effectively a lot in this fight.
As for Kid Chocolate, he says there's no way in the world that I'm not supposed to take on a 40-year-old like Winky Wright. I'm supposed to beat him at this point in my career. He's 40, and that's why I have no problems accepting this challenge. Everybody is telling me that this is going to be a tough fight, but it's a fight that if I'm going to become a champion, I have to win, and I should win.
And early on here in round one, Peter Quillen has been more active and a little bit more accurate than I think you would have expected early in this fight. And Winky Wright has not been able to land very well.
Step back, step. Watch it, okay?
So at least at the beginning for Peter Quillen, things are starting out well. But again, we would have expected Wright to have some issues early.
I like how relaxed Peter. And I would imagine for a fighter, any fighter, let alone a 40-year-old fighter, to take close to 4 years off, his timing is what he's going to try to have to reestablish. Right now, his legs look a little stilted.
Yeah, this is not a great beginning for Winky Wright. He's not been able to put his punches together and has been mostly defensive.
Step back, let's go.
And you can see Peter Quillen pretty relaxed, winking at somebody at ringside. Is he looking for a date or what was going on there? He's single.
Yeah. Break. Step back.
End of the first round, scheduled for 10 in the middleweight division. Kid Chocolate, the youngster. Winky Wright, the old man.
Well, for him, he's got to punch first in this fight, and he hasn't done that so far yet. Go up the middle, that's the place you can hit Peter Quillen. Don't throw wide punches. The straight right, or the straight left, excuse me, is the punch that he wants to land as much as he can in this fight. And for Quillen, I don't think wide punches will get the job done. He's got to stay balanced, and he's done a much better job of that already in round one than I have seen, and he has not squared himself up one time yet. That's Eric Brown leading in from the Wild Card Gym. And, of course, you see the very familiar Freddie Roach, who we will see in the next fight. We're working with Latif Coyote.
Good work. Good guys, Joe.
Round two scheduled for 10. Middleweight special attraction. Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen, undefeated, 26-0 in black. Winky Wright, a future boxing Hall of Famer, in the gray and red.
Peter Quillen, you mentioned Carl Froch earlier. He actually sparred a little bit with Carl Froch and also Anthony Durrell, two 168-pounders. Prior to this fight, they weren't his main sparring partners, but he went off on his own and sparred with those men just to challenge himself to see where he was at in comparison to people like that.
Winky Wright said the key to this fight will be his jab. I'm going to jab this young man from the start to the finish. It's going to confuse him. I'm going to frustrate him. Once that happens, he'll make a mistake, and I'll make him pay. He's never faced anybody that can punch like me. Well, that was 3 years ago. Close to 4. We'll see if that Winky Wright shows up tonight. And Quillen jumping across the ring. Backing up. Last fight for Winky Wright, April of 2009. He lost a 12-round decision to southpaw Paul Williams. A spectacular night for Williams. Now one of the lights has gone out ringside. Outdoor venue, the Home Depot Center.
Well, we've had a little bit of a power outage here tonight because no one's been knocked down or out, and now we had a little bit of one in the actual lights, but
the lights that have gone out are the stadium lights, not the ring lights, according to our Jim Gray. Ooh, nice uppercut followed by a left hook by Quillen. Catching Winky Wright coming in. And he acknowledges the nice combination by the young Pete Quillen.
a very tentative start for Winky Wright, not the one he envisioned.
He even said in his last loss, which was his last fight to Paul Williams, he said, my timing was off. There were so many punches and bunches by Williams. Nice right hand as Quillen turned it over. All right, scoring with the straight left to the body, and that's the end of the second round. And Winky's wife, Pie, ringside with their children.
And that look tells you everything about what she thinks about the way things have begun here. She's a savvy woman. She's seen her husband box and knows about this sport. And obviously early on, not going quite the way he would have wanted, but she musters up some enthusiasm for the camera.
Wright telling us, I have to be offensive, set the tone and pace.
Good job, good job.
I'm 40 years old. I know it won't be the same early, but when I hit him, when he opens up, I'll be able to keep that same kind of pace that I'm looking for. Round 3.
Box.
Now, Winky Wright went to, nice combination by Quillen. He went to the Athletes Performance Facility in Phoenix to help prepare himself for this fight for 1 month's time, where a lot of pro athletes go to work out, and he thought it was going to, he got him in very good shape for this fight. We'll see if that manifests itself.
1 month in Phoenix. Football, baseball, all different kinds of athletes work out at the Performance Center in Arizona.
More movement from Peter Quillen, and I think a little bit more guile in the ring than I think he normally shows, and he's slipping more punches. That left hand got in by Winky Wright.
Wright getting closer.
Quillen is, needless to say, as we've seen, he's a
Watch the head, Peter.
A character. You know, he's a colorful young man.
Very emotional young man. Broke down into tears during our fighter meeting with him yesterday when he rehashed his long road to getting here and some of the tough times that he faced.
Yeah, that was an extraordinary moment. It really was. And, in this round, Winky Wright is now starting to get that jab in a little bit more. The last minute have been the best minute of this fight so far for Winky Wright.
Stop. Don't hold on to the rope, all right? Box.
Zach Young, your referee.
All right, break. Stop. Let's go back.
Again, a jab a moment ago by Wright. Subtle shift in this fight a little bit here.
Okay, stop. Let's make him step back, watch it. Okay. Box.
Uppercut landing for Quillen. Wright still pressing. Double left hook blocked by Winky Wright, and he gives the 26-year-old a smile. 6 seconds to go in the third, scheduled for 10.
Okay. Box.
This is a middleweight special attraction.
Early on in the round, Peter Quillen had some success landing this nice right hand and then the hook. Nice combination, actually. There hasn't been much combination punching in this fight. But Winky Wright then kind of starting to get off offensively a little better. Lands the straight left hand as Quillen is retreating. And the jab of Winky Wright was more effective in the last round as well as that one gets through. So the pace picked up a bit in that round, and I think Wright at least found some of his timing.
Let's go. All right. Keep the heat on this guy.
Middleweight special attraction, Winky Wright, the future Hall of Famer in gray and red. Peter Quillen, also known as Kid Chocolate, undefeated, major step up in competition at 26-0 with 20 KOs. The jab, a very important stat in this fight.
And so far, Winky Wright has won that battle. 16 landed against only 2 of Peter Quillen. And the last round was one in which he padded that total. But in power punches, Peter Quillen by far gets the edge, and that's probably where he's won several of the rounds, maybe all of them. You know, an interesting stat about Winky Wright, 12 of his last 18 opponents have been world champions. So we said he fights the toughest, and he has certainly done that.
13-4-1 in those fights. Prior to the April 2009 loss to Paul Williams, he fell to Bernard Hopkins. Hopkins, according to Winky Wright, with headbutts, leaning in. Wright lost hearing in his ear for 3 days after that fight, as well as receiving stitches on the top of his head.
Now, Peter Quillen, interesting, in several of his fights has had clashes of heads happen, and nothing like that so far in this match. What hasn't happened for Winky Wright is the idea that he would be able to come up the middle, land the jab, the straight left hand. Quillen has been better defensively in this fight than I have seen in some other efforts.
Quillen, left hook to the body, followed with a straight right hand. Quillen's confidence is growing. He told us, he said, I know that Winky Wright is a future Hall of Famer. I know that he's fought a who's who list of great champions, but at 40 years old, his reflexes won't be as good as mine. They can't be as good as mine. That's why, for me, it's a perfect time to fight him. So far, he has a point. Wright's reflexes aren't the same. Half second slow and where he wants to go.
And Peter Quillen has shown much better head movement and nuance in his defense. There was a nice jab by Wright, but then Quillen comes back with good combinations.
Right hand by Quillen gets through. Backs up Wright momentarily, and that's the end of the round. All right. There's Victor Ortiz, who will take on Josecito Lopez June 23rd on our next edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. He is tweeting during tonight's fights. His handle is @ViciousOrtiz.
And we're looking forward to his fight on June 23rd, and the victor. I think that smile was directed at the ring card girl.
Yes, I think it was. And he got caught.
Just guessing, yeah.
You get caught, Victor?
All right, Victor. It's all right. We've all been there.
The girlfriend at home didn't like that.
Yeah, we've all been there, so it's okay. All right. I mean, he may hit me next time I see him. Peter Quillen has landed 27 power punches in this fight. And Winky Wright only 9, and that's a salient point, I think, of what's gone on so far in this match.
10 rounds scheduled in this middleweight special attraction. We are in the 5th. Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen in black, Winky Wright in gray and red. No knockdowns in this fight. No knockdowns in any of our fights so far on our Showtime Championship boxing card.
You know, Peter Quillen credits Eric Brown and Freddie Roach. They work together at the Wild Card Gym, but Eric's been kind of his lead trainer for giving him more in the toolbox, if you will. He feints more, he's more lateral movement, and we've seen evidence of that here tonight. There are nuances in his performance that I hadn't seen on some of the videotapes.
One thing that you do like about him, though, Al, I think that's at the top of the list is his relaxation. He's got a nice poise in the ring.
Absolutely. And a relaxed fighter is one that will be able to sustain through a fight.
He's a young man that has suffered hand injuries, a broken orbital bone, also appendicitis. Quillen was sparring with cruiserweight Guillermo Jones, and Jones broke his face.
Yeah, and he said, I don't know what I was doing sparring with somebody that big. But Jones, of course, one of the cruiserweight champions that is going to be watching very carefully our main event. Good left hand by Quillen, and Wright comes back with his own straight left. Winky Wright landing some shots, but Quillen not unhurt by them, but the action is picking up.
All right, using that jab, backs up Quillen. Pushing through with the right hand. Good action in the 5th. Winky Wright, those old balls. Oh, he got hit with a straight right hand, and down goes Winky. Winky Wright dropped in the 5th. Let's see where he is. Quillen, cautious.
It was a firefight for a while there, and that didn't serve Winky Wright well, and now Quillen is teeing off.
Right, holding on a bit now, 24 seconds ago in the 5th. Legs looks wobbly. Quillen taking his time. Wright missing with the uppercut. 8 seconds. Combinations all blocked by Wright with those long Winky Wright elbows. And that's the end of the round, but a great one for Kid Chocolate.
All right, let that left hand go strong. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Come on, breathe. Relax. Breathe. Breathe. Where's your water?
We will take several looks at the knockdown. They were involved in some big exchanges, and there was Quillen landing that right hand over a very low left by Winky Wright. That followed, as I said, a little bit of a firefight in which Winky Wright had been nailed with some good shots, and then that right hand, a quick one by Peter Quillen, would create the knockdown. And one more look at it. And you see how Peter Quillen delivers his punches in unorthodox fashion. He's a very unorthodox fighter, and I'm going to admit, watching him on video, I think I underestimated a little bit some of that quirkiness. He's probably a more difficult fighter to fight than he looks like on video. He came in here in a win over Craig McEwen. He stopped him in 7 rounds, also a left-hander. And he's fighting all lefties because guess who he wants to fight, right? Sergio Martinez.
That's what he told us.
Of course, the middleweight champion, Martinez, one of them.
If Peter Quillen can get past Winky Wright, what experience he'll gain fighting a man of this caliber.
Yeah, even though it's a diminished Winky Wright, it is still a good experience for him.
I thought you were interesting yesterday when you talked to Winky and said 5 years ago you would have been the favorite.
Absolutely, he would have been the prohibitive favorite in this fight, but not right now. And Peter Quillen is showing why that's not the case.
Quillen telling us that he knows that Winky has the long elbows and impregnable defense, but he's going to hit him on those elbows. He's going to hit him on those arms. He's going to do everything he can to get the 40-year-old to start dropping his hands, because eventually, he said, it will hurt, even though if I don't land clean shots.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's an interesting situation for Quillen right now. Winky has been okay, but not that effective. And so if people think of him as a kind of diminished 40-year-old, will Peter Quillen get credit for this win? But what Peter Quillen is doing is pretty good in this fight. And what you have to like about Quillen is he's throwing more combinations than he has in previous fights. And his defense has been pretty good as well.
Peter, get that head up. Come on, come on. Get the head up, all right? Box. Let's go.
Yes, Victor, we did.
Hands are free. Hands are free.
We're going to hear from him at the fighter meeting before his June 23rd fight, aren't we? He's going to give us an earful.
Quillen, uppercut, left hook, digs to the body, all blocked. The body shot may have gotten through, but Winky Wright's legs, they look wobbly, they look stilted, they look like they have no flexibility.
It's a very good point, and I think that's an indication of, you know, he's just an older fighter. Nice left hand by Winky Wright. So he is getting some punches in, but they're not affecting Peter Quillen.
The hungry one.
Why you keep letting this man steal these rounds? Why you keep letting him steal these little shots back? Huh? Peter, you've been training to go 100 couple rounds around, punches around. Why are you stopping now? Huh? I'm trying to burn him around. Oh, well, okay. Peter, take a deep breath. Now get it.
Some words of chastisement from Eric Brown, even though Peter Quillen did some good things. Now here you see the awkwardness and the quirkiness of his attack. He's looking away. Winky Wright is going to get hit with these combinations. And that's what Peter Quillen doesn't always do in his fights, throw those kinds of combinations. I think he's right. Working with this man, Eric Brown, has been very successful, and along with Freddie Rhodes. I think they're doing a good job of rounding out his game.
He looked like Willie the Worm there.
He did, yes. You're right. Remember Lightning Lonnie Smith, another fighter who used to look one way and then punch another way at you.
7th round, middleweight special attraction scheduled for 10. Oh, nice right with a nice, crisp left hand on the chin of Quillen.
You know, it's not that Wright hasn't landed some good punches in this fight, but he's not a big power puncher. Oh, he's landed some left hands now.
Wright trying to get loose.
Quillen with a big edge according to show stats and power punches, and that does not surprise us. Wright has landed more jabs in this fight, but not enough probably to really turn the tide. And of course there's that knockdown to be considered in the last round, which made that a 10-8 round.
Was this an easy or difficult fight to score in your opinion?
Well, I think Peter Quillen has won most of the rounds. I thought I'd give Wright maybe one round.
Okay, stop. My break. Box.
Peter Quillen's dad, born in Cuba, was a fighter. Matter of fact, he took the name Kid Chocolate after a Cuban fighter.
Yeah, great Cuban champion. And his dad was he didn't know his dad was a boxer until he started boxing. His dad told him about it.
Break. Both you step back, stop. Okay, my break. Step back.
Quillen, street fighter in Grand Rapids. Said he never lost a fight, but he knew he had to.
Get off his neck, Peter. Get off his neck.
make some changes when the street fighting got dangerous and guys were walking around with guns and knives. He knew he had to get out of Grand Rapids. And that's when he left, encouraged by his brother to go to New York. New York was not easy. IHOP fired him. Didn't have a place to stay. He begged the lady in IHOP to rehire him. He lost the job because the trainer he was with trained him right before he had to go to work, and he was always late. She gave him another chance after begging.
All right, stop.
In this round, Peter Quillen has thrown some very nice combinations and been very precise with his punches.
Get up, watch that hit.
And there's an example of him slipping that left hand by Winky Wright.
Break. Time.
Been a great night of fighting here in Carson, California at the Home Depot Center, outside in the elements. And some great fighters have been here. Canelo Alvarez, this is earlier today. 154-pound undefeated champ. Abdur Mares, WBC super bantamweight champ. Devin Alexander, who could be fighting on Showtime very soon. Former WBC IBF 140-pound champ. Shane Mosley earlier today, coming off his loss to Alvarez, in which he gave it to him as best as he could. The great Oscar De La Hoya. Layla Ali, greatest female in the history of boxing. Wonder why. And Dominique Brazil, who will be representing the United States in the Olympics.
You didn't mention Layla Ali's most important achievement. Third in Dancing with the Stars.
There you go.
Come on.
8th round, scheduled for 10 in this middleweight special attraction, 160 pounds. Winky Wright, the old Lion, taking on Peter Quillen, who has looked terrific. The young Lion. We have one more fight with a similar storyline coming up after this one, and when Antonio Tarver takes on Latif Coyote. Tarver 43, Coyote 29. Quillen trying to create openings.
You know, the last 40 seconds has been this fight in microcosm. Winky Wright has landed a couple of good straight left hands, but then it doesn't stop Quillen, and Quillen comes back and lands 3 really good combinations. So Winky is not a huge powerful puncher, and in this fight it's hurting him in addition to the other issues because he can't really stun Quillen enough to land follow-up punches.
Okay, stop. Watch it. You have to watch this. Box.
Gus Johnson, Al Bernstein, Jim Gray, Steve Farhood. Home Depot Center, Carson, California. This is our co-feature. Winky Wright, Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen. Our main event coming up, Antonio Magic Man Tarver, our partner here on Showtime Championship Boxing's broadcast. Nice right hook by Quillen, got around Wright's guard. Tarver taking on Latif Coyote, a big, young, strong Nigerian who has traveled a similar route as Peter Quillen has to get to this moment in his career.
Yeah, it's an apt analogy. And, of course, they both train in the Wild Card Gym. This round has produced some pretty good action because both men have landed good punches. You see that action right there. Quillen has probably landed with more power, though.
Peter Quillen telling us that when he was down on his luck, he called Big Floyd Mayweather. He got some good advice. Oh, uppercut. Hurt Winky Wright, and he's in trouble. Quillen looking to finish him. Short uppercut, Wright didn't see, and Winky Wright in a little trouble. He's not answering back.
Winky Wright has never been stopped.
Wright throwing no punches, trying to clear his head. Left hook, right hand. Quillen pounding him now. And those are getting through. Wright stays on his feet, but Kid Chocolate making a statement here in LA.
He's going to punch himself out. All right, you got to use your legs, man. Your movement.
Gotcha.
Let your hands go. You okay?
All right.
Come on, work, work. You getting hurt? Tie him up. Tie his ass up.
Hands out.
This uppercut is what started the problems for Winky Wright. Nice punch by Peter Quillen. And he recognized very quickly that Wright was hurt. And that was important because it allowed him to get right on him and land these shots. And a tighter look even of that. You see Quillen landing that. That uppercuts are such a great weapon. We saw that in our first fight with Leo Santa Cruz. He landed a lot of those punches.
Wright may have fallen through the ropes if Quillen wouldn't have been standing right in front of him.
And that would have been a knockdown.
9th round scheduled for 10, middleweight special attraction. Dominating performance by Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen, 26-0. Now Winky Wright trying to answer. The former champion showing his medal.
Winky Wright, if he's going to go out, will go out on his shield here. He is trying very hard to win this fight.
In the last round, let's take a look at the show stats power punches.
That's impressive, landing 44%, Peter Quillen. And by far his most dominant round, even more so than the knockdown round. Yeah, nice jab by Wright. See, that straight, that combination of the 1-2 is what Winky Wright thought he was going to be able to do a lot of in this fight. Has not been able to. Quillen has a habit of leaning straight back, and that's what Wright thought he would be able to take advantage of. You know, has only been able to do it sporadically.
Fans chanting Winky's name, but Quillen.
It's turning into a good fight, though.
Very good fight.
Tweet there from fine boxing writer Doug Fisher, doing some good analysis.
Right hook again, getting through for Quillen. Quillen recognizing early that he has to go around the very high hands of Winky Wright, and it's been effective for him. Knocked him down once with that punch.
And that iconic defense of Wright has always been difficult for fighters to deal with, but this is, as we've said, a 40-year-old version of Wright. That was a right hand to the back of the head of Quillen. That's because Quillen's putting his head down, and so he's kind of inviting that. It's been a very entertaining round here in round 9.
It's been a very entertaining fight. 10 seconds remaining in the 9th. Winky Wright, you can see he has gained respect for Kid Chocolate.
Winky was able to land what was kind of an eye-popping jab early in the round. Then they would have a clash of heads. We mentioned this happens in Peter Quillen fights from time to time. And here they did have a banging of heads a little bit while Quillen was landing some good power punches to the body. And that wasn't really anyone's fault. And then as Quillen bends his head down, a right to the kind of the back of the head. And that happened several times by Winky Wright. right on the Cuban flag, interesting enough. I don't think there's anything political in that.
Right. A bruise under his right eye. And this is the 10th and final round of this middleweight special attraction. Winky Wright in gray and red. Peter Quillen in the black trunks. How do you see this fight, Al, so far as we head into the final round? How do you see this one?
Yeah, I think that Peter Quillen is likely ahead on in this fight. It was a 2-point round and a knockdown round, and then he hurt Winky in another round, and he's been pretty consistent in winning these rounds. So I believe Peter Quillen is ahead by so much that Winky would need a knockout to win this fight.
Winky pulling the jab, throws the right hook, gets through. Now Quillen bounces off the ropes.
And as you look at Peter Quillen, I guess the question in people's minds will be, did he win more because Winky is a little diminished, or did he win because he's improved?
I think it's a combination of both.
I agree with you. So you answered that question that people are asking out there.
Good combination punching by Quillen. Left hook may have gotten through, the only one to get through. Lead uppercut.
Stop
landing.
Stop punching. Let's go. Box.
Wright thought that going straight up the middle was going to be his route to success in this fight.
He did, and when you look at the video of Peter Quillen, you believe that's so. But I think Peter Quillen has shown that he's a little more nuanced defensively than you think he is, and a little better defensively.
Left hook, right hand. That right hand blocked by Wright.
Now, again, there's the jab of Wright. Now, mind you, Sergio Martinez, a left-hander who's a little bit more effective, might be coming straight up the middle and being more effective against Quillen. But Quillen would sure like the chance to find out if he could deal with that.
So in this performance, what has Wright shown us?
Well, I think what he's shown is a grit and determination, and what he's also shown, and Steve Farhood said this to us at the meetings, and he was right. He said if Winky Wright was going to take this fight, he probably should have taken a tune-up before he did it. And I think at the end of the day, Steve Farhood is correct in that opinion.
Winky telling us that he just wanted to fight Quillen, beat him, prove that he was a championship caliber fighter again after the long layoff. Wright backing up. 2 seconds. Quillen. Wonderful job by Kid Chocolate as Winky Wright, who may have needed that tune-up, came on a little better toward the end of the fight.
He had his moments in this fight, and you're right, he did come on a little better in some of those later rounds, but was unable to. He didn't have enough power to really hurt Quillen, and Quillen was not as easy to hit as he thought he might be. And you have to credit, you saw Freddie Rocheline in there, he and Eric Brown. There's Eric. They've done a very nice job with Peter Quillen. Is he ready for a middleweight champion? If not, Martinez, perhaps Daniel Gale, who's got one of the championships, or Felix Sturm, a couple of fighters in Europe. That would be either of those would be fascinating matchups.
So let's take a look back. Winky Wright knocked down with a minute left in the 5th round from a right uppercut to the chin.
Yeah, this looping right hand would get there and send Winky Wright down. Not a sight we see very much in Winky Wright's career. And then at the end of the 10th round,
here comes the uppercut.
Yeah, here's where we're going to see that. And he's actually whacking him there with some good right hands, and had Winky Wright in some trouble. And coming off layoffs like this, how have fighters done? Well, you can see here, George Foreman's the granddaddy of them all in that department. And how many fights it took them to get to a world title. Winky Wright, based upon this performance at age 40, may not get himself to a world title matchup, but you see some of the great names in the sport that did it. And that run for Muhammad Ali, by the way, is one that was very extraordinary. That got him to fight George Foreman in Zaire.
So Winky Wright, after the long layoff, comes back into boxing to take on a youngster, an up-and-comer, and Kid Chocolate. As you take a look at the show stats,
They demonstrate that Peter Quillen is the likely winner of this fight.
all right, for the official decision, here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Marty Denkin, scores about 97 to 92. Judges Gwen Adair and Alejandro Rochin both scored about 98 to 91. All three in favor of the winner, and still undefeated, Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen.
So Peter Quillen improves his record to 27-0. Maybe his most notable victory against a veteran and future Hall of Famer in Winky Wright. Quillen with a knockdown in this fight, also a great uppercut, almost knocked Winky Wright down for a second time.
And so far, the older fighter has lost every fight here tonight. Antonio Tarver would like to change that sitting in the dressing room. We'll see if he will.
Now let's go to Jim Gray, who's standing by with the winner.
All right, thank you very much, Gus. Kid Chocolate, Peter, congratulations to you. What does it mean to you to have now beaten Winky Wright, who will be a Hall of Famer?
Well, it means nothing compared to when my father came here 32 years ago. Came to this country for opportunity, and you know, this fight wasn't an easy fight at all. It was hard earned. I have to give all credit to Winky Wright. He came exactly what I thought he was going to do. He was going to put his heart on the line, but this means and shows that I have heart too, and you know, I'm not taking away from my performance. I'm just very fortunate what God paid this platform for me to be able to showcase my talent here on Showtime. With my dad being here, my family, this is important to me.
The fifth round, you're able to knock him down with that straight right hand. Tell us about that punch.
Well, champions are not just people that win fights. Champions are people that get off the canvas and be able to fight harder. That's what Winky Wright did. I didn't want to be one of those fighters that throw everything out. I know he's very smart and crafty. I had to be smart in the ring, and, you know, I had to watch for my shots. If I didn't see the opportunity to take the shot, well, it's not meant for me to take, you know. But that shows exactly what kind of fighter Winky Wright is, to be able to get off the shot. I hit him hard. I felt it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know exactly how it went, but I know I hit him hard. But he got off the canvas. That means something even harder to me.
What's this like for you to have come as far as you have? You told us the story yesterday of when you went to New York. You had nowhere to go. You got on the number 4 train, and IHOP had fired you, and you just had no place and nothing in your life. And now to have beaten a Hall of Famer and now possibly put yourself in a championship position, how do you assess from where you were to where you are? Well,
crap is only crap when you eat it. And how you know it's crap? Because you could taste it. This is my step up the ladder, being signed with Golden Boy, being with my managers, being with Al Heyman, being with Golden Boy, being able to be here with Showtime. This is all some positive energy. I know exactly how this feels, but I won't believe it. I think hard work is the #1 thing I have to thank to be able to be here where I'm at.
Congratulations tonight, kid. Let's talk to Winky. Winky, tonight wasn't your night, but you'd had almost 4 years off. Was it rust, or was it just father time?
It was definitely rust. A little bit of father time, but it was rust. Take nothing away from me for the good fight. He did a little better than I thought he would with some of his punches. He wasn't really a big puncher. He caught me one time with a flash knockdown, but it didn't hurt. It was just threw it out of nowhere, boom, and I went down. But I got right back up.
Did your mind wander ever during the fight to what this might have been had you fought a guy like this 5-6 years ago?
Oh, no. You know, we live in the moment, you know what I'm saying? He fought a good fight. Take nothing away from me, had a good fight. I wanted to throw my left more, but the way he was leaning, I couldn't really catch him with it. And then, you know, he would come back with these wild punches, but, you know, he fought a good fight. take nothing away from him.
Winky, you said you wanted to fight again because you hated the way that it ended with Paul Williams.
Yeah.
Now this ends this way tonight. Was this the end of your career?
We'll see. We'll think about it. We definitely will think about it. He fought, like I said, I think he was a little too big. I wanted to fight 54. And, you know, it is what it is. I ain't mad. I felt I fought a good fight. And I did think he won.
Winky, we thank you. You've had a great career, and we've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right, Gus, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jim. Let's see how the official scoring went for Wright. Quillen, as Peter Quillen continues to celebrate, throwing out.
Yeah, pretty dominant scoring for Quillen. A couple more rounds given on Marty Denkin's scorecard, but clearly he was the winner in that 2-point round because of the knockdown helped him.
So Peter Quillen remains undefeated at 27-0. Winky Wright, he's got some decisions to make about his future. And speaking of future, Latif Coyote